What's going on, everyone? This is Shocker with Shocker Entertainment, and it's October, and that can only mean one thing. It's Halloween. And what better way to start off the Halloween season on October 13th, Friday the 13th, with some WWE 2K17 gameplay of Jason Voorhees. During these next few weeks, we're going to do a little series called Countdown to Halloween, where I'm going to talk about some of my favorite horror movies and the characters, and we're going to put them in the WWE video game. Now, Rookie is not really a fan of horror movies because he gets scared very easily. I don't know, he's weird. But I love them. They're my favorite movies. I have probably about a million of them here in my room. And yeah, this is going to be episode number 1 of the Countdown to Halloween. And of course, it's Friday the 13th. We have to do Jason Voorhees. Jason Voorhees is the star of the Friday the 13th film franchise. Let's start with the first Friday the 13th, where he's actually only in it at the end of the movie. Obviously, there's going to be spoilers in this. But if you haven't seen the movies by now, you probably never will. But then again, I should say spoiler warning anyways. But in the first film, we all know, which is kind of a ripoff of the Halloween franchise, or should I say the Halloween movie, the original from 1978. Even the director of Friday the 13th said, let's rip this movie off. Let's rip Halloween off and make our own thing. And he did that. And when it came out, it wasn't very successful with critics, but people watched it, people loved it, because this was the time where everybody wanted to see slasher films. And Halloween started slasher films, and then it didn't start it, but it started a revolution of slasher films, and that gave us Friday the 13th. And in this film, a young boy drowned at Camp Crystal Lake, and these kids go back to Camp Crystal Lake a few years later, and they all get murdered by Mrs. Voorhees, Jason Voorhees' mother, in sort of her revenge for her son's drowning. She says all the campers did was want to have sex and drugs and do all that. They didn't watch after the kids. They should have watched after Jason, but they didn't. So she tries to kill them all, and she kills most of them except for one, and she gets her head chopped off. So the surviving girl, the final girl, I should say, is in a boat, and a deformed Jason Voorhees, and he's very young, he's a child, comes out of the water and pulls her under. So that's how that film ends. It's probably not my favorite of the franchise. Definitely not the worst. We'll talk about the worst in a second. But it's okay. It definitely started a revolution, I can tell you that, because who doesn't know who Jason Voorhees is in today's world? He even has a new video game that everybody's playing. I play it. We all play it. It's really fun. But it spawned, 12 movies, I think? So, definitely succeeded in that way. Next, we can talk about Part 2, which is, I think, better than Part 1. Jason Voorhees returns as an adult, so, yeah. The timelines are weird in these movies, but you don't really watch the movie for the story. You just watch the movie to see Jason Voorhees kill people. He's back. He has a little bag over his head. He doesn't get the iconic mask until later on. He doesn't get it in this movie, but he's back to kill the kids. In the beginning of the movie, he kills the surviving girl from the first film, and then just goes on a rampage, as Jason Voorhees would do. And pretty much that's how all the rest of the films go. He never really dies. He sort of dies, but then they bring him back to life. It's really weird. My favorite one's Part 3, definitely, because that's where he finally gets his mask. But that's, I'm not really going to go into detail of all the movies. I just want to give an little introduction, if you haven't seen it, to what it's all about. Jason is a very, he's not a very diverse character. He's just a kid who drowned. You kind of feel bad for him, but then it kills these people, so you're like, can't feel really bad for him. He's killing these kids. But it's fun to watch if you like horror movies. I grew up watching all of these movies. I don't think the director of the original had anything in mind about this becoming one of the biggest franchises of all time, but it did. There was a lot of bad movies as well. there was Jason X, but some people like it. If you do, I'm sorry. I don't know how you like that movie. Jason X, he goes to space. They freeze him. He goes to space. It's years later, and they're in space. This robot people. I don't know. It's a mess. I'm sure, like, if you're like drunk or something, it's fun to watch and laugh at. But I just don't like that one. The remake is okay. That came out in 2009, I believe. It's okay. Freddy vs. Jason was fun. I mean, it wasn't anything groundbreaking, but it was really fun to see those two horror icons fight against one another. And we all know who won. Jason won. But did he really? I don't know. They never made another one, so I mean. But yeah, Jason Voorhees is one of the most iconic horror characters of all time. I would rank him probably in my favorite ones, probably number 3 when I look at the whole spectrum of it, because I have my favorite, and I'm not going to tell you that until later on when it gets closer to Halloween, because that's going to be the last episode of the countdown to Halloween. And I'm sure it's a lot of people's favorites, but I also know Jason is a lot of people's favorite character. I mean, this new video game, Friday the 13th, the game, on the new systems, Xbox, PlayStation, all that, PC, it's a lot of fun, and it's very 80s, the game is. It has a very 80s vibe to it, which is when the films came out, and it just brings you back into the movies, and it's just a really nostalgic feel when you're playing the game. And I don't know, I always loved the Jason movies. I know they were supposed to come out with a new Friday the 13th film. I think it was supposed to come out this year, but obviously that's not happening anymore. But there is no doubt in my mind that in the next few years there will be a Friday the 13th reboot, remake, sequel, I don't know. There's going to be something coming out sometime soon. There was also a proposed TV show that just didn't happen. Well, I mean, there was supposed to be a new TV show, I should say, because there was an old TV show called Friday the 13th, which had nothing to do with the films. But there was supposed to be a new TV show that did not happen either. But yeah, guys, this is Friday the 13th. This is Jason Voorhees, and you see him fight different versions of himself on 2K17. Let me know who your favorite horror character is in the comments below. Let us know what you think we should do next on the countdown to Halloween. We have a few in mind that we're already going to do, but maybe we haven't thought of one that you might have an idea for, so just let us know. Yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. You can catch us back on the next episode of Countdown to Halloween in a couple days. Be ready for that. And let us know what your favorite thing about Halloween is. I mean, obviously, I love Halloween. I love the season. It just gets me so pumped. I love going to haunted houses. All that. It's just, honestly, the best time of the year for me. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Let me know what you think about this. And I really hope you guys enjoy this series. Like I said, check back in a couple days for the next video. And we will see you on the next one.
Ha 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 ha.